Okay, welcome. Welcome to my dear English-speaking friends. I'm using this opportunity on this Tuesday, sunny morning, end of October, to translate the Hungarian contents of my third vodcast, which I held approximately 1 month ago. That was on 24th of September in the night time here locally in Central Europe. But that was the first podcast where I did not talk about my life and my background and who am I and why am I talking so much. But I talked about what are my visions for the future, and because as I announced before my podcast, I believe that today's world as we live globally offers no positive vision for those who think clearly, I would say, who does not follow the mainstream. For them, there is not really a positive vision with respect to the future of our child. So as a parent, I have 3 children, and they are let's say not childs anymore, in the ages from 17 to 21, 3 of them. And I think as a parent I have the responsibility for the future of my child, and not as providing for them, because they are capable of anything, just to have a world which is anything to explore, and not providing so many topics for fear and unsolved issues on the plate for everyone who likes to watch these kind of things. So my opinion and what I talk about is not the ultimate truth. It's just my truth based on my life of 48 years of living, my partnerships, my jobs, my work areas in the field of electricity, power plant industry, and my experience with family and so-called supporting family. And if you listen to my previous podcast, you know that I had a, for me, unusual life, because there were several ups and downs, you could think. The latest down this summer, when instantly my girlfriend told it was the end for our 16 months nice relationship. So I just don't want to recuperate, just give a short outlook why I'm talking. And I'm talking about my truth, what I believe is the root cause of the issues in the world, and how it has to connect, how it connects with each one of us individually. So I would like to result in an understanding by the audience who is interested to hear this, in an understanding how can an individual contribute to the whole world of his, to the whole world, to all of his contacts. And that is my aim, that's why I'm talking. So far I had several podcasts regarding these topics. So this was my third podcast in total, but this was the first to talk about issues in public, or issues of public, and then this is the podcast which I will now explain to you about my ideas, how to improve. And there are next podcasts, 3 of them already, about the main contributing factor, which is spirituality, and the practical implications of not having the true knowledge about the true spirituality. So that's what I will talk about. So thank you for listening, and so I will start. So in my opinion, there is no positive vision today which we can offer for the future of our children. And it's even worse because some people make hasty decisions. People on the top who rule the rules which we live on. They make hasty decisions, and they have lack of insight or information for the doings of everyday people, and that's why they worsen the situation of our kids. For example, in Hungary, in my country, there was decided we have October now, so in September the school started, and I became the information that the officials decided that each kid has to mandatory handover of the cell phones in schools at entering, you know. It was just decided in Hungary out of thin air, and not even, let's say, the schools were, let's say, given the time to build structures or have a process and so on. But this is the least, I think. But who has an understanding for the needs of the kids, and has the understanding of the needs of those teachers who utilize the cell phones of the kids during the teaching with positive effects? Because the cell phones provide many possibilities to use them also in other areas than just privately. So just one example where I think those who make the decisions do hasty decisions, does not really care for all the participants, bringing together the needs of the participants, because I don't know, they think that that's good, the reason to decide this is good, so I don't blame them. I think it's lack of insight and information on their part, which makes them think that this is a good way of leading people, leading the world, leading schools, leading the future of our child, affecting the future. In schools we affect. But in my opinion, this is a further worsening of the quality of life for the younger generations, because there is always a reason when my child at home selects the phone as his company or a book and not myself. So I would always relate all of these big topics in the world to ourselves, look into ourselves. So why do I complain about my child not selecting me as a discussion partner or entertainment partner at home or in school when I cannot get his attention? Is this not a dynamic? I think it is. We both are there, and we both are there and should have responsibility. Of course, a child has maybe less responsibility to create an atmosphere at home, right? Or in school. So I think the responsibility lies always at the parent at home and at the teacher in school to make the atmosphere in the classroom that the kids are interested in hearing what is going on. So yeah, you can see that I think I feel I have to raise my voice, and that's my channel. Here you can see my podcast where I would like to introduce you to ask me questions and share your opinions, because I'm eager to know others' opinions. In my opinion, let's say I raise my voice for the sake of all descendants, my kids, your kids, everyone's kids in the world, because I feel we cannot allow that, let's say, good intentions guided by ignorance, because it's ignorance, both in home and both in public, let's be honest. I cannot let that. This ruins the future of our kids. So I will speak about my established ideas, which I gathered during my 48 years of living, and following areas, let's say, are affected. I'm aiming for a healthy life in harmony with nature. So basically, today's world is not really in harmony with nature. We can argue about that, but That's my opinion. We do not live in harmony with nature in our everyday living as we do it, and also not globally. And that's why nature is putting to a halt or putting in a stop for this, our doings as humanity. And I have ideas which I will explain to you for certain topics like reform of labor code, reform of education, of media laws, of healthcare, reform of food industry, reform of sports, and reform of environmental protection. All these areas, in my opinion, need to be reformed. So, yeah, as a starter for this bunch of information, I would share that my opinion is that one can view the world globally and the surroundings and this area, everything surrounding, as a material perspective only. Material meaning this is a people, this is a sag, this is a, I don't know, utensil. These are all materials, okay? We can do it. I had done it 46 years of my life. But let's say it's not advisable. It's not advisable to look at the world only from a materialistic perspective. Because let's say I did not understand the essence of spirituality until this summer, this year. Because, and also I did not understand what does it mean that there is an ongoing spiritual warfare. Because our material world is connected to the spiritual world, and spiritual world is affecting the material world. So if I do not consider the spiritual aspects of living, of my own personal life, then I will be blind for all the effects which my surroundings can cause in my world. That's my opinion. So there are in the world, so what I am doing, this is called light working, because my intention is love. Basically, my intention is love. So what I do is free, and you can take it if you want it, you can leave it if you don't. So you do not need to be upset, just don't hear it. And light workers like me are currently isolated in their micro environments and also in the macro environments, because they are swimming against the current. Nobody wants to talk about living based on the principle of love. No. There are no companies or authorities which support these light workers. They are on their own. They are, let's say, they are everyday warriors, you know, fighting for nothing other than a world based on love, which is not new, this idea, you know. Several decades ago, John Lennon also sang a very nice song about peace on earth, you can imagine if you sing along with John Lennon's Imagine, okay? So basically, in my opinion, that's where I start with. Spirituality has a key effect to my and your everyday life individually, because demonic forces, demonic thoughts of people around us, they are there, they are present in our everyday life, because many have thoughts which are false, not based on love and not intent of love, not because they are to be judged or because they are wrong persons. No, it's mainly due to the lack of proper training. So nobody is teaching anywhere key information how to live a life in love and peace and happiness. Okay, so because due to this lack of training, people, individuals like you and me, have open mental doors for demonic thoughts. So I was not realizing my own demonic thoughts until recently this summer, where I realized that, oh, what I have suffered was such thoughts from others, and I looked into myself, and let's say I had to have an honest discussion with myself like this. So this is called the dark night of souls, when you are with yourself alone, and you are on the bottom of your life and on the feelings again, and you have to think about, well, what was my contribution in that, or what does it mean for me? What does it mean for me? How have I to act differently? You know. So what are these methods of people around us or ourselves to instill, manipulate our surroundings with demonic thoughts? The methods are very similar everywhere globally. In my opinion, we have global and national influence on the large scale, which is the mainstream media. If you watch mainstream media, then you will instill thoughts in yourself about demonic entities like fear and disinformation. You will probably hear something and maybe pick it up and tell your opinion to others. And this is, let's say, these mainstream media provides disinformation because they provide sometimes false information without checking or whether it's okay. They just provide it because they think it's a good thing to share. Or they provide irrelevant information, so which is not relevant to people's life, but it's good to share because they like to share, okay? So it does not help anybody, but they share irrelevant information. So this is the large scale, okay? What is about the middle scale, like let's say industry level, okay? In industry level, I can see that in an industry, people are silenced or intimidated by the demonic entity possessed people, because even using like mafia methods, you know, because when individuals like development colleagues discover groundbreaking devices that could benefit humanity, like okay, there was a case of Egeli György in Hungary who was near fatal beating on the train one day, and his colleagues who developed with him these groundbreaking devices, they had fatal fates, each one of them. So he was the only survivor. So let's say demonic entities possess people and possess groups or mafia groups, basically, to silence those who could benefit humanity and benefit the individual by maybe providing a cheap or free energy source instead of the expensive energy which we buy from the mains, you know. So what about the next area, the company level, or company level, or maybe it's often leaders within companies, or leaders within families. So if you have large families or companies, these are similar for me, companies and families. You have leaders, which leaders we do not know the intention, but if the intention is not from light, from love, if the intention is from fear and from demonic forces, then these leaders of companies and these, let's say, established persons of families, family heads, they will initiate disinformation or lies, outright lies, which then spread behind people's backs who are the target of this, and through gossip prone, everyone who is gossip prone. You know, many people are gossip prone, so they like to talk about others who are not present, and like to believe such information and share them, you know. So those gossip prone leaders, colleagues, family members or friends, they will take this information from the established leaders and they will say these things behind my back or your back, you know. And these are things which I would instantly object if they would tell it to my face. So nobody tells it to my face, you know. And that's I would maybe quit the company instantly if I hear this, you know, from the leader. And that shows hopefully to you that if I work in an environment which is not really helping me, you know, when I'm down, nobody cares, nobody comes and asks you, how are you? Can I help? Do you need help? You know, then you are maybe in an area where there is many demonic thoughts around you because of gossip, which was provided by someone who did not tell you the truth in your face, you know, and you will experience all the material limits for you without understanding the spiritual background of it. And that's spirituality, because spirituality, they starts by intent, by thoughts, by words, and not necessarily words spoken to you, but words about you spoken to others, you know. So that's where I start, okay? So hopefully now you can understand why I think the spiritual warfare and ongoing, which is ongoing globally, in middle level and in individual level, at home with my spouse, maybe, you know, why it is important to consider, and not only the material world. I hope this explains this. So we can have positive thoughts in our minds. If I'm an individual, you are an individual. Each individual needs to, let's say, get his car going, get his life going, needs to work on his happiness and success. And so it's important what thoughts do I entertain all day long. So it can be positive thoughts which strengthen in me the side of light, the side of love, okay? Or I can have negative thoughts about myself or others, or fears. These negative thoughts and fears, demonic thoughts, they fuel darkness in myself. So they will suppress me, will lower my vibration. And everyone can access their daily thoughts and decide whether they are creating an atmosphere of light, of love, or darkness for themselves and their surroundings, okay? And whether this is good enough or not is your decision. You know, everyone has to know what he wants from life. And I have to look in my home environment. Do I create love in my home environment or not? Do I contribute to love? Do I let it be a darkness, or do I make certain steps? Or in the work environment as well, or social environment with friends. So what is the difference, okay, the important crucial difference between true spirituality and that spirituality which many practice? So they say they are spiritual leaders, they say that they are spiritual trainers, or they say that they can read tarot cards, but they do not really know the true spiritual necessarily, because true spirituality, let's say, is with love, with the intent of love always, not with the intent of getting rich or having influence or other intents. So let's say the absence of real love, and not, because real love is not just words, I love you, no. Real love has to be present in all the daily actions which I make. So, do you know your spiritual leader in the community who speaks always about love and a loving family? Do you know his private life? How he treats his or her wife at home? How he treats his or her children at home when they are alone? Do you know it? If not, then you can trust him. But maybe it's better to not trust him, but check, you know? Because if one cannot show in all his life areas that true love is his approach to his doings, then he is not really a spiritual leader of true love. He cannot be, because he cannot access, you know, the Most High. The Most High cannot be accessed by people who are not living, who are not walking the walk, who are just talking. They cannot access. They think that they access some kind of God or Allah or creator, but In reality, they don't. So you have to be aware of that in spirituality, that you have to be careful by selecting who to trust in questions of spirituality when you ask someone. So you have to check his background. You have to have your experience with him for a certain while before you open up. Okay, that's you know, the let's say this is very important. So it's not enough to know the holy text and to cite the holy text to others. For the Most High, it's not important whether someone knows the holy text. It's important how he lives. If he lives according to the universal rules of living in harmony and love, okay? So my opinion about Earth is that this is the kindergarten or the school of a higher dimension which we cannot see. We do not vibrate currently at this high level. So if we speak to the Most High, he is up there in a higher dimension, not in the 3D which we live in. And I believe that we are here in this 3D, in this kindergarten, to learn, each individually. Because if I learn from my past mistakes, then I can work on raising my life happiness and my life experience, and in that way growth is possible in each life. In my opinion, we are reincarnating. So if one life was not lived to the fullest, then we get the chance to select another life at another place to live again. And this is meaning that I believe in the theory that people are not people based on the earth itself, but people are all individually energetic energy beings who are living in upper realms or can live in upper realms, and they exist there, and they come here to earth to learn. I forget, you forget all the knowledge of the energy being, and we start anew in each life. It is like a game, and we get the opportunity to do it differently than last time, you know. So basically each one of us had, in my opinion, many past lives, or none at all, and did some experience in those lives. And all souls are called souls who wake up as a child with a long history of past life knowledge of how to live in love, and they will try to live in that as a child because they know the way of the Most High from birth. And these souls have a memory, a remembrance like an elephant, okay, elephant-like memory. They are wiser than their parents, and this is of course hard to break. The parents struggle with these kids who are saying very good things, but the parents struggle to implement this in their family and in society, because they are afraid of society or other things. You know, they are not focusing on their child's opinion. For sure, it's a hard topic, but due to this, such parents or all parents can struggle to handle these children who seem to be self-willed. They don't obey their parents unconditionally. Many childs obey. The parents say so and they say so. These childs do not obey unconditionally, and they are hard to break. So, for example, I had a little harness while walking as a child. Yeah, so you can see that many parents can select also support to control their child on the road because of their fears, of course, about what can happen, you know. that shows that, for example, myself was also one of those old souls who did not regard authority more than, let's say, the feeling about the living in harmony with the Most High. Okay, so that's why these childs eventually get as all childs, they are not different in childhood, so they will break always. They will always break under the pressure of the home environment, because they are the mercy of their family for survival reasons. Okay, so at that point, the true self, each child on earth, in my opinion, is not different. The true self is suppressed, and let's say we are living in a, until our end, if we decide to, we are living in a family compatible mask our lives, if we want to. We think who we are, but we are not correct, because we forget. We locked it in our subconscious, who we truly are and what our true desires would be, you know. This is the child's consciousness, which still knows. Until the age of 6, 7, or I don't know, it declines, and in the school years you can forget about it. So, because of the schooling system, the strict schooling system which we have. So this subconscious closure of himself can show, it can manifest in many symptoms which you can see. So we refer to them as illnesses, like mental illnesses or other illnesses. For example, I had a pollen allergy. A pollen allergy, I had to blow my nose and rub my eyes from May till September because of allergy. And you know, today there exist lists of psychological causes behind all diseases. So I looked it up today, and an allergy is, let's say, the sign that I fight and I am irritated by my environment. I fight my environment and I'm irritated by my environment because I'm not accepted as I am, you know. That's a root cause of having an allergy of any sort, basically. So of course, it's just to show you that this suppression of our true selves, this is shown in symptoms. And you can look into the world, how many kids have new symptoms nowadays, because they are, let's say, autists or other psychological cases in early childhood are all deriving, in my opinion, to this fact that we suppress our kids at home. And in my opinion, almost every parent is affected, if not every, okay? Because we are simply following traditions. Yeah, for thousands of years, and we think that we need to follow them because for thousands of years we followed it. But you know, this tradition was to raise our children without true love. Yeah, so why not skip it? You know, true love is different. True love seeks to support and bring out each individual's genius. Okay. And if I provide as a parent true love, I see myself as a supporting, as a caring role, and not as a possessive or controlling role. Okay, so I think that's a big difference. So my opinion, one should respect and love one's ancestors and the inheritance of the past 1,000 years or 60 years. Let's say we should love and respect, okay, both the living and the deceased ancestors, our parents or grandparents. But we should not love them and respect them for what they say. No, not for what they say, but for those positive actions of love which they demonstrated, okay? Which they demonstrated. So because that's the action is required, not the words, the action. So for example, I remember one of my ancestors was a descendant of Huguenots from France, who were, let's say, who were fled France because of persecution in the 16th to 18th centuries, you know. So let's say there were many hundred thousands of Huguenots who fled France because they not only had the intent of love and the ideas about love, but they dared to speak and dared to meet in communities which believe that Christian church should be reformed in a way to make it more in love and more respecting each people individually in everyday life, okay? So you know, I think that is an example that if I have a parent or grandparent or ancestor who is taking action and is not afraid to go against the mainstream in the belief of this cannot be life, right? Everyone lives like this, but how can they? I cannot. And dares to speak up and take action and show in his life that he is not only talking but also walking the walk. So I think that's an example for you. How to select which parent or ancestors, which deed is worthy of, let's say, worthy of honor, remember and follow, okay? So, summing up, I talked a lot about individual topics and other topics. My opinion is that no parent is in fault. Every parent does the right thing currently, which is unfortunately not the right thing for the child, but they are not at fault. In my opinion, the environmental conditions were bad and are still bad. We need to change the environmental conditions to give the opportunity for parents to select a life based on true love, okay? So what does it mean? Currently, the environmental conditions are bad because we are teaching incorrect information. With many important truths, we are withheld, are silenced, are not told deliberately. Important truths about history are not told. We are hearing in history classes, his story, who was winning. His story is written in the history books, you know? And that's what we repeat, and that's what we think is true, you know? And nobody cares about the alternative historian sites with information truly worth of visiting. Nobody talks about it, you know? That's teaching incorrect information based off incorrect teaching of our teachers, you know, and they believed. Or for example, what is bad? The fear-based communication. So the fear-based communication in the official channels and in everyday life, this destroys self-confidence. Instead of communication of offering calm, stable vision for the future, communication offering the possibility you were capable solving your life issues up to now, and you are capable, and you do not need to worry about the future because you are capable in yourself. You do not need the help of anyone, spiritually or otherwise. You can do it. That's missing. And you know, we are teaching many false information and the true history which would reveal instantly what is the spiritual past of ourselves and what would be the good thing to do today. This is withheld. You have a monopoly in the Vatican about Egyptian research. Why? Because they want to tell about Egyptian let's say spirituality what they would like to hear us, okay? Or they suppress information about authentic, let's say, authentic ancient times. Okay. For example, the pyramids of Visoko, which are near to Hungary in Bosnia-Herzegovina. There are underground pyramids, sun pyramid, moon pyramid. Everybody can visit today already, but nobody talks about them in the official media. Like pyramids are a thing of Egypt and let's say the Egyptians, right? Because they are doing pyramids. But no, this culture was spread all around the world globally, several more thousand years in the past than they would like to discuss, okay? So they cover up a Tartarian Empire hiding its ruins globally, okay? You can read about it if you are interested. So just few examples how they, for example, in the USA history, they concealed that black people are native populations. They were not shipped by ships from Africa. That's nonsense, you know. They were challenged and they were fought and they were enslaved as local native people. Nobody talks about it because it would be an important thing to know, just to have truth for each one of us, you know. Okay, so that was the let's say first part, 40 minutes. I'm sorry to being such long, but I tried to incorporate also an overlook about myself in this podcast. So now what are my ideas how to improve? Okay, first, reform of labor code. In the labor code, I think my opinion is that we should be focusing on humane living. The focus should be on humane living in the labor code, not on money. So we should establish the conditions in all the work environments by labor code, or for true work-life balance, not work-life balance which we talk about and we make a checkpoint that work-life balance is okay. True work-life balance, what does it mean? It means each employee should have enough time and motivation to lead a normal, not extravagant, healthy private life, okay? In which they have the opportunity for effective self-discovery, okay? Because they understand that's in their best interest, okay? Because they help themselves and there is no parentalism. So the teaching should be that people, you are capable, okay? So basically, in following points, I will detail what is the healthy private life. And of course, labor code should set the rules for having enough time. Because currently we are working 40 hours a week and we are resting 8 hours at night and we do not have anything for ourselves, okay? So shorter working hours, higher hourly wages, and other solutions need to be worked out to have enough time for a really healthy work-life balance. Okay, what's the next? The second, reform of education law. Yeah, in education it's clear. I do not like the current schooling systems, which are mostly about you don't know anything, you need to be trained according to certain templates to know something to be worth, you know? That's not good. We need alternative curriculum, alternative schools who provide the philosophy, you are a genius as a 7-year-old child, so let's find together what is your genius? What is your genius? Just read Jay Niblick's book. He has a book written in 2009. It's called What's Your Genius? Jay Niblick described this, that there is already a science about this, that each one of us has his genius. There is the car mechanic genius, there is the hairdresser genius, and there is each genius is existent already, just he has a hard time to find out to go on his really true path, okay? So I would like to have a reform of education law, to have alternative schools which are different entirely for those parents who would like to give the child a possibility to live in his life in true love, okay? And these schools should include creative activities to discover intuition and uniqueness, and learning have classes about true spirituality. So it's important that everyone individually is an energy being who is the creator of his own world by his thoughts and intents, and that's spirituality. Each individual has to be trained that how to become the creator of his own world, okay? Because then, and only then, he will become the master of his own destiny. And not a parent is a master of his child's destiny. That's an illusion, a big illusion. And we have to skip that, in my opinion. The kid has to realize early as possible, after birth, as early as possible, we need to maintain his confidence that he's the master of his reality. And he has to suffer the consequences if he selects a certain way of living. Yeah? So basically, reform of education law is dealing with this topic. So what's the next? The third is reform of media law, the media law, the mainstream media, or Hollywood, or radio, mainstream, everything mainstream. We should prohibit fear-inducing elements and programs. Every fear-inducing element and program should be prohibited. And because we should also prohibit all programs and advertisements that suggest that it is necessary to live a money-centered life and not a love-centered life. So that money is important. Money is fame. Money is, I don't know, position. And money is making a good, happy life. You know, we should eliminate all this illusionary content from our media. We should also eliminate all the news showing disasters, yeah, and the traumas, because let's say there is no positive effect of showing disasters and traumas. Nothing. It's just fear mongering, because there are nowhere any credible lessons. And without credible lessons, each one of us has only credible lessons on individual paths. No one else's lessons are a credible lessons for myself, because I don't know his past. I don't know why he earned that fate, you know? So we should eliminate news showing disasters and traumas. What we should introduce, in my opinion, we should introduce all the teaching real love programs that are capable teaching real love, okay? Programs that are capable of teaching harmony, daily harmony of daily life, to be harmonious. Connection with nature, it's very important for city life also, to have daily connection with nature. Programs teaching this. We should introduce programs which teach how to spend, let's say, material and spiritual involvement daily. So because disastrous lifestyles which are shown in the current content, they do not need to be shown. Yeah? We should replace them by content with positive examples, let's say, emphasizing the importance of developing individual talents, developing harmonious lifestyles in love. What is the fourth topic? Reform of healthcare. Okay, what about healthcare? How does healthcare contribute to all this suffering in the world, in my opinion? So there is trauma surgery. Trauma surgery, I have a broken hand and I need a surgery. So except of trauma surgery, for all areas of healthcare, okay, I would transition to traditional holistic healing in all areas. Because in traditional holistic healing, the order of illness, which I can see or measure, the order of illness is, first there is a psychic illness, a demonic thought, yeah, which is recurring in my mind daily. This is a self-disturbing thought. This is a psychic illness. That's the originator. Holistic healing knows this. Originator is psyche. The result of this originator will be a disbalance in the energetic systems. The chi, the energetic flowing in my body, which you can influence by acupuncture or yoga or just moving. The energetics of your body is having a malfunction if I have a psychic illness. So that's the psychic illness, energetic malfunction, energy system, and the third is the physical symptoms. So if I have a cold, or if my ears hurt, then I do not need to treat my ears. I do not need to blow my nose and put something in my nose. So the holistic healing knows that I have to work with my energy system and my psyche to solve the root cause. And what nowadays healthcare is doing is not solving the root cause, and some know it, and most of us don't know it because the information which are provided in the university for healthcare students is not dealing with holistic healing. So my idea is to introduce personalized holistic healing. So it's not a universal healing. Oh, this medicament is good for everyone. No, personalized holistic treatment and support. I would not call it healing. It's treatment and support because it's for self-healing. So the people come to this supporting people who should be a coach doctor. I call it a coach doctor because he should be authentic, which means he should practice it themselves on their own life. So he should be able to tell everyone examples of his own life where his methods worked. That's an authentic coach doctor for holistic self-healing. That is required in the healthcare. And that's all. So easy. Okay? The next point, what about the food industry? I would reform the food industry, okay? Because first, I will support frequent farmers markets in all areas in cities as a source of healthy food, okay? Public funds should be utilized to support farmers to bring their food directly to the customers in cities on farmers markets, and they should have favorable conditions by the state. They should have subsidies, parking spaces, advertising, whatsoever which is necessary to involve more and more of these individuals selling their individual stuff on the market and not corporations benefiting from the food industry, okay? We should ban plastic bottles, use glass instead, whatsoever, because plastic bottles, they cause microplastics in our drinking water, which is currently not filtered, and we are drinking this shit. And basically, you can avoid it by banning plastic, okay? So we should ban plastic. And let's say, in the food industry, the most important thing for a being in Earth is water, the quality of water. And the best water is the fruit water. So let's say watermelon is the best. Fruit water has a different structure. It is the best for your body. The next is spring water. And if you are not having a spring in the city, you can select the production of spring water because Japanese and Russian technology provided spring water quality water treatment systems. Unfortunately, this is not one which the waterworks are using currently. And this is not the one which companies who sell you home water treatment systems are selling you. So that I made my experience, unfortunately. So you have to, we have to, let's say, introduce, let's say, state subsidies for spring water quality, which means reverse osmosis system, together with energized appliances which energize the water. And we have an alkaline connection, so we introduce alkaline contents into our purified drinking water. These three parts are required to have so-called spring water quality. Okay, so I would introduce that and support with public funds spring water quality for all drinking water, because that influences our individual mental well-being. Okay, and also I would encourage meat-free diet. So vegetables only and fruits only, meat-free diet, because energetically we are energetic beings. Our positive and negative thoughts, demonic and light thoughts, are influenced by those thoughts or feelings which the food had before it got on our plate. So any animal who is suffering during his lifetime has many bad energies in his meat, which when I cook into the food will have it as well. I will have it as well. So I should avoid eating such animals who had many negative feelings during his life. It's better to eat animals which were held in a traditional way and were only subject to suffering during the end of their life. But the very best is you do not let suffer any creation of the Most High, and let the animals live and let the people live, and people should eat vegetables and other stuff which do not need to kill for your survival. Okay, so because that meat of any living being will have some kind of negative energy, because at least the death of the being. So basically that would be my change for the food industry. The last. What about the reform of sports? In sports, I would ban all the support for performance-oriented sports. What you can see in most TVs are all about this one, because they are performance-oriented, and they ruin the performance-oriented food, ruin the lives of the competitive athletes. So my philosophy is not like my child is not good enough if he's not first, or let's say I'm only a proud or happy, or I'm only a patriot of Hungary if we defeat other nations or opponents. It's not about winning. It should not be about winning, because winning is always relative. I position myself higher as another one because of a winning. So that just the end result is important, not the path and the enjoyment of the sport. So please, my idea is stop the support of all performance-oriented sports, because it will affect children who is telling an illusion and lie. It's worth to do sports because you will be successful. Everyone knows that 5% of the people who are pushed in childhood are working in sports area or are successful. All the 90% of them needs to look for other jobs in civil environment later on. So why to do this illusion with these childs, So I think we should support all the sports, which I also do, honestly. Support sports which are improved which are improving and maintaining individual health, mental, spiritual health, and bodily health. They are maintaining and improving. Okay, like Qigong, like Zongyuan Qigong. You can do this meditative work, or yoga. Yoga is also like this. So this should be supported by funds. We should fund this kind of sports and quit funding the performance-oriented sports. And everyone can do what they like, but we should not fund it as a state. So, last topic, environmental protection. Yeah, environmental protection. Yeah, George Carlin, the great comedian, he said a very good thing about environmental protection. We are worrying about Mother Earth. And Mother Earth was here long before we came here on Earth. And she will be here long after we have gone like a small nuisance which he shook off from his back as fleas, you know. He was having a very good time on talking real shit. So what we are doing in the world, in my opinion, is the same, is just illusion. And environmental protection should have following aspects. Everyone should feel responsible. For example, if I walk on the street and I see a litter on the pavement, everyone should be brave enough to take the litter to the next dustbin if he has a free hand, and if he has time, and if he has the mindset. That's the individual responsibility. Yeah? Taking the individual responsibility for a clean environment, and not complaining but doing. Ban plastic bags, as I told already. Stop or fight global panic mongering. Panic mongering about global warming nonsense, emissions nonsense, is just introducing fear-based reactions from people. So we should not spread panic. Yeah? There is no the Earth is in no danger because of global warming. Earth is in no danger because of emissions. We are fucked. The people are fucked. But the solution is not to have once a year a meeting, going into the woods and taking all the litter out of the woods. That's very nice. But let's say that's not a lifestyle based on environmental protection. A solution is a personal responsibility and a lifestyle based on environmental protection in small circles, in my house, in my garden, for my garden, in my area, and supporting love for nature, my love for nature. I would reduce all forms of waste production. So the environmental protection should focus on waste production. For example, technical devices like a washing machine, kitchen appliances, should require by law the ability to repair and refurbish all contents, not the throwaway like today. We buy something, throw it away and buy a new. That's not environmental protection. And all the machines, the technical devices, the equipment should have, let's say, beyond the warranty period for up to 30 years, this condition of being able to repair and refurbish, and the manufacturer has to provide spare parts, if any. So full renovation possibilities. It's not a good situation that car manufacturers are producing cars for 5 years or 10 years, and then the customer will buy a new one. You know what? Or the electric cars, the main component of an electric car is the battery, and the battery is the main component. And if its lifetime is ended, you can throw it away and cannot refurbish it. You know, what does it mean? What does it mean to you? It's a waste of money, and it's a big waste production. So we should be focusing in car manufacturing on repairability. Today, a car mechanic opens a new car and he says that he has no access. To have access to a usually replaceable component, he needs to demount half of the engine with many working hours, because the designer had not the target to make a easily repairable and refurbishable object. He had the target about what? About emissions. Emissions, an illusion. Emissions is an illusion. You know, emissions is an illusion. Look at the new electric cars. They have a petrol engine as well. It's a joke. It's a joke. Yeah? The petrol engine is driving a generator to load the battery while you are driving on the highway. Man. So this is an illusion, and we have to stop it. So we should reduce waste production by introducing targets of repairability, refurbishability, and full renovation possibility for all the items which you use. That's my opinion. And the last topic, we should reduce all forms of energy consumption. Energy consumption should be reduced. Yeah. So that's for example, everyone turns on their air conditioning in the summer because it's hot inside. Yeah. We close the windows. It's hot inside. And in the city, you know, the sun is shining on the walls, shining on the asphalt, and it takes until, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the morning until the city can cool down. Because all the walls and all the asphalt is heating the city even when the sun is long down and we have sunset 5 hours ago. You can walk in the city and you have a heating environment, you know, because there is no shading. So for example, it would be good to fund, let's say, shading along house walls, along asphalt roads, to reduce electric use for air conditioning in the summer, you know? Or for example, to set performance limit for IT devices, because computers do not need to have so much consumption, because currently they are like little, I don't know, power stations to have this 3D, very fancy gaming and I don't know what environment. The monitors and the computers use so much energy, which is 10 times the energy which they used 10 years ago. And what for? For the little play of a very nice picture which can be in 3D. So I think we should look at the places. These are just examples. We should look at the places where can we reduce energy consumption, because you know what? My eye opener in energy industry, I worked 24 years for a multinational company for a global energy industry, by providing power plants to all the areas globally which require electricity. And 10 years ago approximately, or 12, I was shown one page, one slide, with a graph showing energy consumption in 2011, 50 years before, in 1960, okay, and 50 years in future, the expected energy consumption globally. And you know what? We had this amount in 2011, and we had this amount in 1960, and the forecast was this amount 50 years in future. So you can see that at that point in time, when somebody had told me, in that moment, we are focusing on emission reduction, then I would ask himself, okay, and why do you do not deal with this electricity requirement? You have to reduce it. There should not be such requirement, because then we will have double the power plants. You know what? In 50 years than we have now. And we will produce maybe double the emissions. And we will not do anything about it, because it's more important to sell electricity, to make money with it probably, than to influence things that people do not require so much electricity. They can maintain their life standards maybe from half or from tenth of electricity, like with good ideas from individuals who are silenced currently, you know. So that was the point in time where I realized that energy consumption needs to be reduced and not emissions and talked about, you know. Okay, so it's a very happy ending for today's podcast. Thank you for hearing this 1 hour and 9 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much. So I invite you to follow me on my Facebook or YouTube page. Please, if you are interested, consider on liking and subscribing my YouTube page, because once I reach 50 subscribers on my YouTube page who are interested in my stuff, then I will start regular vodcasts, video exchange with you in these topics, because so far I'm only having Hungarian vodcasts on Facebook, and I started, let's say, 2 months ago. So it's the phase of transitioning. The numbers of YouTube subscribers is growing, and I'm happy for that. And I'm thankful for each one of you if you are interested. So please subscribe on YouTube. for more. Thank you. Cheers. Have a nice day and just take it easy.